right, welcome everybody to SRN's coverage of our Wednesday night truck series. We are at the finality. I got Ethan back with me tonight. We are at Phoenix Raceway tonight, and it's actually a day race, so we're at Phoenix Raceway today. Really happy to announce we got Apex Grading and Landscaping on with us to sponsor this race, so big thank you to them for that. They are out of Maryland, Delaware, and I think they actually go into Pennsylvania as well, from what I hear. So there's their phone number and their information there. If you need any grading or landscaping, they're your guys. Thank you so much, Apex, for coming on. We'll talk about them, I'm sure, a couple of times throughout the race, as a lot of these drivers do have their Apex grading logos on their trucks tonight. Let's take a look now at race conditions. Ethan, we were just talking about this a minute ago. So like we said, Phoenix, we got 78 degrees as the ambient, but look at that track temperature at 136 degrees. That's going to melt some tires, huh?
It's going to be very hard on the tires. They're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place today.
Yeah, so this is probably the hottest track I think we have seen, but this is Phoenix for you. This is how it goes. And so there you have it. It's only 5-mile-an-hour wind, and so nothing really helping them there with that. So these drivers are going to be dealing with a slick racetrack on a strange little tri-oval, if you will, and they're going to be dealing with quite a bit, but they're also going to be dealing with trying to figure out this point situation. We could pull that graphic up here as well. So in our points right now, you see Bobby Hall Jr. comes out of last week at Homestead, still leading, but not by much. Alex Healy closed that gap just a little bit, so he's got 7 points right now. Bobby Hall does on Alex Healy. Then we got a little bit of a gap there to Matt Grenier in third, but boy, is that a tight battle for third, with Grenier having 528 points. Dan Worthington has got 527. Chris Phillips is not out of it yet, 10 behind at 518. So there's a lot of racing to still be decided here.
I know that Chris Phillips is one person who's been rethinking last week over and over. I know he was dominating for most of the race last week. Last 10 laps took a drastic turn. That's in what kind of put us in the points situation we are today. It's going to be very interesting to see how this race pans out.
Absolutely, and I would think that Matt Grenier is going to start out by just playing some safety here. Impossible for him at this point to move up into second or first, so he is just probably going to be locked on and glued to Dan Worthington and Chris Phillips and where they are in the standings, and that's obviously going to be how he kind of plays his role. He's just going to want to do what they're doing and stay just a little bit better than them. Looks like we may be, well, just about done with qualifying here, so as soon as that happens, we will go ahead and get the grid set for you, but we will keep our eye on these points throughout the night.
I've been keeping an eye on Dan. He just doesn't seem to have the short-term pace that the people he's battling have. So it's going to be extra groove, tire strategy, just something to be able to overcome deficit and keep these guys behind him.
Yeah, what we haven't seen quite yet is the long-term speed, though, and we'll have to see if that's maybe by design. If he's run a few laps and after he runs a few laps, he's checking the tire wear to see like if he's got a problem there, or if he's trying to manage that rather than just straight pace. So we'll have to see, but it looks like our drivers are gridding now, so let's take a look at that if we can. There we go. Bobby Hall, our points leader, gets the pole, and he is going to be followed by Alex Healy in second in our points in second, so can't get better than that. Josh Highbaugh is going to break up the top of the points guys here in third. Matt Grenier is going to be in fourth. Chris Phillips is going to be in fifth. Gordon Spain in sixth. Jeff Ledford is going to be in seventh. Wes Wigan is going to be eighth. Ninth is going to be Dan Worthington. And 10th is going to be Mascot Mike. 11th will be Alex Foster. 12th will be Thomas Hall. And let's scroll that down if I can. Hold on one second. There we go. And so Dakota Shepard is going to be 13th. 14th is going to be Michael Brooks. 15th is John Van Blaricom. Mike Allen is going to be 16th. And Steven Shue is going to come in 17th. So that is how we're going to grid up today. And as the race controller is giving the opening race ceremonies here and telling them how to do and what to do, we will get this underway and get these guys rolling in just a moment here. Right, and the trucks are going to get rolling now. There we go. So, very interesting, wouldn't you say, that the guys that are fighting for these top positions are all in the top 6 or so. This is going to be something. Oh, sorry, not that.
It's definitely going to be a chaotic turn 1. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we'll see if everybody gets through there, but I guess I guess these guys have to kind of try to play it kind of safe. I'm gonna not interview anybody right now in this, because these guys, this is for all the marbles, you know what I mean? And I know these guys are pretty pumped up, and the last thing they need to do is get a broadcaster curse and have something happen. So, and you see Bobby Hall there, he's got the Apex logo there, so appreciate him supporting as well. And we are off, folks, and he is gonna get turn 1 from Alex Healy clear just like that. Grenier on the outside is going to try to clear Josh Highbaugh. And look at Healy going to the inside now, so he's going to take a peek on the inside, see if he can get the lead. Remember, this is the guy he's got to beat, but you can't win it on lap 1.
No, you can't. Still side by side behind them for a position. Looks like Dana Worthington still falling back a little bit.
Yeah, Dan Worthington, the one that oh, we got a caution on track here. Let's take a look and see what that is. Looks like Mike Allen and Q. Hold on one second. Let's pull this back up. Well, I don't know about that one. I would say that the 29 was kind of going into that wall anyways. I'm not saying the 71 gave him a ton of room, but I think the 29 kind of did that one to himself a little bit, unfortunately. There you have
just a little bit of break.
Oh. So just like that, our first caution, and we will re-rack them and probably get going here on about lap 5. Everybody's going to have scrubbed the goodie off those tires just a little bit and have to deal with that.
Looks like they're scoring. The system may be screwed up right now, but it looks like they're scoring Matt Grenier in second. I didn't see him get around Bobby Hall. And there they put it back.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I think they're just not lined up where they're supposed to be, but it is. So Hall, I think, let him get by for a second for whatever reason. So they got that sorted out. I wouldn't imagine anybody's going to be pitting here, of course, other than the people who were in that issue. Like you see the 29 on the track map right now, he is in the pits. He's probably got to do a fast repair because that was a pretty hard hit. And that'll be his only fast repair, so he's going to have to figure out after that how he's going to keep it clean the rest of the way.
It'll be very crucial for him to keep it clean the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's going to feel like an extremely long race out here, especially with this heat. The amount of loose truck that you're dealing with is going to be mentally exhausting, so... And he's got a long road ahead of him here, but I'm sure he'll battle back to a decent finish.
I've driven a couple times at this track. I know that when you go into a couple of these corners, it feels like eternity before you can actually get on the gas again.
Yes.
I know later in the race, when all the pressure's on the line, there's going to be a few people overdriving the exit or the entrance or something.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so race control just made his call, and it basically said that the 71 went up the track. 29 was already out there. The 71 went up the track, causing the 29 to have to get into the wall. So 71 gets EOL. We're just about ready to get going again.
Alex Healy's on the bottom this time. Let's see if he's going to be able to.
Yeah, you would think he'd be able to
Green
squirt out. He's
flag
gonna...
is flying any second now. Good jump for Alex Healy. Bobby Hall in danger of losing a spot to Matt Granier. A lot more orderly than the last start, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely not as much wiggling. Tires got some heat in them now.
Bobby Hall all over the back bumper of Alex Healy. Let's see if he can be able to actually make the pass on him.
We saw in the back of our screen there the 01 of Jeff Ledford in 6th position all the way up the track. Not sure if that was by design or he got kind of pushed up there or got loose, but not ideal for him right there.
I've seen Bobby Hall race. I know he can be a lot more aggressive than this. He's probably just saving his stuff, not keeping his stuff clean because he's going to need it later.
Bill, you got to figure at this point he's got more to lose than gain right here, right? As long as he can keep Alex Healy within a couple spots of him, he's gonna win the championship, you know. So I don't think he's got any. He's perfectly happy right where he's at, I would think.
Just doesn't need to let many people pass him. He's keeping up with Alex Healy pretty well though.
Yeah, he is, and they are gapping the rest of the field just a little bit here. You see about a 7/10 break between second and third. All of our top drivers are still up front there, with the exception of Dan Worthington, who's back in the 11th position. So he's currently in 4th in our standings, and is in, like I said, the 11th position is probably gonna count him out as we speak. But I mean, this is far from over at this point.
Far from over.
Now you see Bobby Hall and Alex Healy kind of arcing that corner a little bit higher in on the entry, and that may be making it easier for them to make the exit. So you see guys kind of adapting to this track and the conditions after running a number of laps here.
The outside and the middle are definitely coming in a lot quicker than I was expecting coming into this race.
Yeah.
Got a couple people almost running the wall.
Yeah,
Turn
I
3
see
and
that
4.
too. Kind of interesting. That's what they're doing, but hey, if it's working. Kind of looking through the field here, it looks like Highbaugh and Ledford. Ledford flips the wall just a little bit right there. This is kind of our closest battle on track right now. Like Highbaugh's going to get that position. That's for 6th right now.
Looks like Daniel Worthington saw Wes Wiegand start making some time on the outside. He was able to get around Mike Kavanaugh. But moves down to the bottom after it makes the pass. See.
Oh, somebody's into the wall inside there. Who is that? I cannot see the number right now. Should be getting a caution for that, I would think, unless he kept it going.
Let's tell who that is.
Thomas Hall, that's who is 93, Thomas Hall. You see his left front fender is broken off the thing from contact with the inside wall. currently in the 15th position. So that's who it was. He stay under green because he got it going.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. It doesn't look too horribly off of pace either. So that's, I don't know if this is a good break or a bad break for him. Back up front, still as tight as ever. These two drivers, both Flex Motorsports teammates, are going pretty much as they're just. I got to imagine Bobby Hall is just pacing Healy right now. He's just content where he's at.
Well, he is definitely running a little bit different line, trying to see if he can make up it be any slightest little bit faster.
He's trying to get to him now. Doesn't look like that.
And he looks higher up the track for that lap. He was making pretty good time in turns 3 and 4 on the bottom.
Yeah,
pretty much everybody in the field is single file right now. Probably the closest battle.
Yeah, this really is the closest battle we got right now. And Bobby is definitely better. It looks like better in 3 and 4. And then 1 and 2, he kind of falls back a little bit. And then in 3 and 4, Bobby's definitely able to make up a little bit of ground on him. But now you see Healy kind of stretching that back out another 10th or 2. And so,
it looks like it ran a car length lower that way.
Yeah, look at Bobby all the way out there to the wall almost. He went very wide into that corner. Something about that he likes. I don't know if it's helping him speed wise or if it's easier on tires and he's going to make it up on the back end of the run. That's yet to be.
Running just straight behind Alex Healy is killing his tires, keeping him in dirty air. He's got to find a different line if he wants to keep his tires fresher.
Yeah, and if you just saw that right there on the 97 of Healy, got a little bit loose coming off of that corner. Remember, that was his nemesis last week, was he would get loose off the corners, and that was just rubbing those tires and heating them up, and then later in the run he would fall off. So I know he's hoping that that's not what's going to happen right now.
I was noticing that in practice too. At the beginning of the runs, he was really good. He started pushing it a little bit hard towards the end and just kept spinning out.
Well, looking back through the field, really got a full lot going back here, but it does look like Dan Worthington has improved 9th positions, gained 2 spots on the track. Now he's got his teammate Wes Weigand in front of him, and Weigand not being, I think he's about 10th or 11th in the points, so him not being in this, I just wonder how much he's really going to fight him when he gets there to him.
The 88 truck definitely has been running very well today. I don't remember seeing him at all last week, so this is pretty impressive to me.
Well, there goes Worthington to the inside, and just like I said, I think that 88 is not going to put up too much of a fight on his teammate there. He knows what he's got on the line. Alex Foster down the track. You see him almost hit the inside wall. These guys are really starting to deal with some loose conditions out here as these tires wear. We're 25 laps in now and still on the same set of tires. Back up front, these guys are still going right at it. Nose the bumper.
And starting to move up the leaderboards a little bit. It's got to be putting a little bit of pressure on Matt Grenier and Chris Phillips. Phillips has to get around him and keep moving up to stay ahead of Daniel Worthington.
Right. Yeah, he's got
Phillips looking.
to. Let's think here. So Phillips, yeah, being 10 down, he's got to get around Grenier and get some spots. That's looking real tough right now because Grenier's looking good sitting there in the fourth position. He's just nice and steady.
Grenier looks like he's a little bit faster, but that little bit faster, he loses that as soon as he runs a different line.
Yeah, and Chris Phillips is going to take a look to the inside here on Grenier, and like Grenier was just lower through that corner, but still able to hold pace on the outside of Phillips there. So, you know, the looser these trucks get, the harder it is going to be to make a pass on the inside and hold it down with speed. And that's, you just saw Phillips right there just have to deal with that, and it's difficult. So here he goes again, same corner, trying the same thing. Not able to hold it there again, just too loose. So he may want to try the outside here at some point. I don't know. I'm not in a truck. I don't know if that's going to be better or not, but doesn't look like it's working too good on the inside, so may have to try that.
He really can't afford to lose too much time on a pass because Joshua Highball is right beside him and he looks hungry.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is start having to look in your rear view rather than out your windshield. Back up front here, Alex, he over half a second now. You see the gap there. He's definitely had a couple of good laps here and put another few tenths on his teammate there. The problem still remains is that Healy needs to win, but he needs a couple of spots in between them as well. So, these two trucks have just gotten away from they're 2+ seconds ahead of the rest of everybody else. So definitely are two trucks to watch here.
How about Gordon Spain, last week's winner? He's holding solid in third, looking solid again this week.
He is. And Worthington has gotten himself another spot now around Ledford and Wigan, so he is 7th position now, and still needs a few more though. Still going to need a couple of spots here to sneak away 3rd place.
I saw Chris Phillips try to get around the outside of Matt Green here. Got a little bit loose. Joshua Highball is all over him now.
That's what we were just talking about. And yeah, now he's falling back a little bit there. And how Highball can sniff his draft a little. And you can just see how loose they're all getting now. They're just kind of sliding around. Look at the 41 off of that corner, just halfway down the track, pushing it for everything, but cannot make it stick. And the lead is starting to grow substantially up front now. I mean, we just looked at it 2 or 3 laps ago. It was 6 to 7 tenths, and now it's a second and a half. And so I would say, you know, Alex Healy's doing a great job holding on to that truck and having good long run speed. Healy doing absolute everything he's supposed to be doing here to win this championship, but needs to have something good happen to him, make this work, or he's going to still be a couple of points short.
Not a lot of battles going on in the track, but there's a little bit of a dogfight going on back there in 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Just pulling that up, these guys are really going after it mid-pack, huh?
They're wearing out those tires very quickly.
He led for getting loose off the corner there, has to kind of turn it down and not hit that wall.
I'm not sure how Steven Shu got around all of them. He's not able to drive away from them. I wonder if there was a bunch of them got loose into each other.
Contact or something, maybe, who knows, but he's the beneficiary here and goes around. He started dead last, and he's now up 8 from where he started in 9th, so you're right. Steven Shu's not really able to pull away from these guys. And oh, and right there you got Foster and Hall, Thomas Hall and Foster. Turn. I do not see a caution yet. That Brooks.
These trucks are going at it right now.
And that was Brooks and Foster. 92 and 24. They got completely sideways, but both of them keep going. Doesn't look like they have any damage, so nobody really hit anything, and they keep trucking. Look at Foster off that corner, just completely loose.
He's been sliding around for a couple laps now. His tires probably heated up too much.
Yeah, they're cooked at this point, unfortunately. Again, back up front, the lead has kind of stabled out. It's 1.6, which is exactly what we left it at a few laps ago. So, for whatever reason, in that little stint right there, Alex Healy was quite a bit faster. Now it has subsided. While we're looking at that other stuff as well, update you on this. Highbaugh has gotten around Phillips, and he's got the 5th position now. Phillips, with his situation being 10 points out of 3rd place, not looking too great for him in 6th position. With the 15 truck of Grenier in 4th place.
Daniel Worthington is a position behind him, but he's nowhere in sight, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's about 4.5 seconds is the gap, so he got some. Sure.
Possibly he warmed up his tires a little bit too much, trying to get around grain here. Maybe just holding it steady for a couple laps. Just hopefully it'll cool him down. He'll be able to pick up this gap soon.
I would imagine at this point, now we got to start thinking about pit strategy. When they're going to come in, they probably can do another 15, 20 laps, but I know none of them want to, you know what I mean? But they may have to, just the way it's going to time out.
There's a tire limit of 5 in this race, so we saw one person last race try to short pit enough to where they had a set left over, and they ran out of fuel on the last turn. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to use all the tires, if somebody's going to stay out, short pit. It's a multitude of options right here.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that all plays out.
I do know that Chris Phillips has to do something drastic to make up this points deficit. This team will be the most likely to make a big gamble to somehow get ahead of all these other guys.
Absolutely. He may have to play strategy here and just throw a Hail Mary at some point. They have to do that, but I've been waiting for Bobby Hall to start kind of reeling Healy back in at the tail end of this thing, and it's starting to happen. It's, he's made up a couple of tenths back, so, no threat at this time, but that clock is coming down, so we'll have to see if he can close that gap in the closing laps on this stint. Bobby Hall is also a driver that doesn't mind going long into a set of tires or a fuel run because he does seem to be one of the better trucks in the longer distance. So I think he figured out very early